Uh, so I'll get started. Last year, Stu gave a good chat. Mine is also going to be a chat, but I put together a few PowerPoints to go with it. I just wanted to let you know at my home today, there's an A-frame out in front, and here we are. We just ordered this. We made it a little bit different. I put or take brochure, and we have a brochure holder at the top there. So if any of you are coming by, please pick up a brochure. So what are my goals today? Number one, I want to have a little fun. I want to entertain you a little bit, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit about CSRS. And I always learn something from you. I've already learned something when I've been listening to you. Derek's already gone through about putting your name and title on your picture. If you haven't done that, please do so. Again, this is a chat. It's not just a presentation. So I ask you to ask questions as you seem or make comments as you see necessary. But I'd ask you to do a couple things, and I'd like Derek to kind of monitor that on the reactions. I can't see them all when the hands go up. So if you have a comment, please put up your hand with the reaction buttons, and those should be at the bottom of your screen. If you're just waving your hand with 6 pages of pictures, we can't see you. So you'll automatically go to the upper left-hand corner of our screen and we'll see you. And also you can use the chat button. I'm seeing people have been chatting already, and that's great. So here you go. Good morning, sunshine. Hello, world. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Good morning to you. I don't know whether that could be our new logo or not. What do you think? Oh, boy. This is me and my beautiful wife. We've been married 57 years, and I think we reside in the same humble abode here for about 47 years. We have 4 kids and 6 grandchildren that keep us busy. My wife just retired as the CEO of Modesto Sierra Vista Child and Family Service Center. And we planned on traveling a lot this year, but we're here at CSRS instead. So this is my name. It's not Kendll or any other spelling. It's just like Amazon Kindle. It's a very German name. It means a lot of things. Rabbits kindle, fire burns and kindles. So a little synonym there. That's my phone number. Take it down. If you need me, call me, and that's my email. Just for your background, as far as what I've done in CSRS the last 12 years, I belong to branch 143, great bunch of guys. I started out as program chairman. The first few years, I didn't realize that lunch started at 11:30. I always showed up about noon, and I was always late. Took me a few years to figure that out. But once they figured out I could walk and talk and chew gum at the same time, I became the program chairman, and it's something I really enjoyed. I was Big Sur then in 2015, area governor for about 2.5 years, regional director for 2 years, and your vice president last year. One of the things that always seems to come up, and I read through Dick DeVoe's comments that he made 11 or 12 years ago, I believe when he was regional director, and it always seems to be about leadership. And I know you guys are here because you believe in CSRS, or you wouldn't be here. You'd be watching the Raiders game. I don't blame you. I'd probably be there myself. But I played golf last Monday, and one of the old timers we got to talking about, he knew I was the state president. He says, "What the hell are you doing that for?" And so it got me thinking a little bit. And, I said, if you really believe in what CSRS does, and you've got a little ability, why wouldn't you become involved? So I put just a few things down here. Do you believe that what CSRS provides is good for your friends? I do. Do you enjoy seeing your CSRS friends have a great time? I really do. Have you met new friends at CSRS that you enjoy? I've got a whole bunch of friends now with CSRS that I enjoy. Do you have leadership experience? Even if you don't have leadership experience, are you willing to learn? And this is one that grabs me a lot. It seems like there's an attitude that everyone or a lot of people think that, I don't want to do anything, let someone else do it. Well, I don't accept that. I guess I wasn't raised that way, and neither were you. Do you have some time to help with SIR leadership? Everyone's got a little bit time. The busier I am, the more efficient I become. Have you been asked to help with SIR leadership? Do you need some more information about being a leader in SIR? And I think the most important thing is, do you want SIR to survive? That's what it seems like it's boiling down to. For the last 10, 12, 15 years, we've been on a slow slide. And if we don't get a whole bunch of people get involved in SIRs, a little more than they're involved now, I'm afraid of what the inevitable results are going to be. But I'm optimistic, or I wouldn't be here. So we called this the year of the branches. Everything that we're trying to do, or about 90% of it, is to get branches to survive, but they slowly keep dwindling. I think the main thing is that I think about is the state, and a lot of you leaders can come up with all kinds of ideas of things to do, but if the branches don't accept it, and if they don't move forward, it just doesn't get any better. So where are we now? On a membership basis, I think we're right at still about 11,000 members, and that was as of the October numbers that were used for the assessments. I think we understand that we probably won't know the real membership numbers until we get into the second quarter, when they start using the numbers out of January. Just due to the fact that people, like was said earlier, will be paying their dues. And a lot of that dues money that was paid in January last year just was paying the assessments throughout the year. COVID-19, I think, I don't know if Alan's here or not, but I was going to go through a few items, and if he's here, he can chime in, or you can ask him questions. The protocols remain the same. Each branch BEC will determine if they will have meetings based upon their local and state guidelines. Masking for indoor activities is in effect until at least February 15th. And the last thing, we didn't change protocols, but we highly encourage everyone to take their booster. I guess I have a quick question. How many have had their booster shot? Raise your hand. I'd like to see. You don't have to use the yellow hand, just the. When I did this at our branch meeting, I know it was 100%. So, you know, it's kind of like if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. So thank you very much for doing that. One other thing that came up, you can take your hands down now. One other thing that came up at our last board meeting that maybe wasn't made clear is that based on Mr. Malenko's opinion, self-administered test results are acceptable with members' signed statement that the results are his. So I think we all know that if there's an event, this would be for individuals that didn't have the vaccination or their wives.
Yeah, unfortunately, let me click in on that. I sent you a revised opinion, which we probably should take a look at
Okay.
before we get into that. There are different kinds of tests, and one of the more reliable tests that well, let me start from the beginning. When I wrote this opinion in August, it was based on the requirements for re-entering the U.S., which allowed self-attestation on tests that you take at home. That's since changed in the last couple of months. In checking this morning, I found that now they require something called a, let's see if I can find the name here, telehealth test. And that kind of test requires you to take the test on a video and submit it to the testing company, which then gives you a certificate. I don't know if we want to follow that or not. That was the guidance that I was using, that test. So I've revised that opinion. I sent it to you, Rick, which probably you didn't have a chance to look at before this. But basically, what I said is if the state BEC wants to allow self-attestation, then that's up to them. But if we follow what the U.S. government requires for re-entering the country, and that was the model I used, then it'll have to be a special type of test called a telehealth test. And Craig also sent something out suggesting that at a minimum we might want to have a picture of people. So it's taking the test. It's a little more complicated, unfortunately, than the original opinion issued back in August.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have some discussions at our next board meeting, or we'll have to have a special board meeting so we can get out what the official opinion is. And I think the other thing that's critical about this self-testing is this is a branch BEC decision too, whether they want to accept the self-testing. Some branches say, yes, we'll accept it. Other branches say, we'll only accept vaccinations, period. So, okay. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, is there any new state guidance regarding the Omicron?
No.
Since we're back to meetings since October?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of, but that's something we can certainly check out. It seems to be they're coming out with additional mandates and recommendations on a county by county basis, but I haven't seen anything on a state level.
As far as I know, it's up to each branch based on the local, and face masks are a big part of that.
Yeah, also the cities have regulations too. I was in the paper this morning that San Jose is going to be requiring vaccination proof or recent tests for any event, in a public event involving more than 100 people.
We're already doing that as far as requiring vaccination. Ray, you have
Right.
a question, 113?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that I am part of the bowling committee, and at the Reno tournament, we had a lady that we tested on the spot. So we were able to prove that she self-tested and was negative. So I don't know if that would be a way to go where one of our directors or would actually witness the test itself.
No problem there.
Thank you.
I know I used the self-test here, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, and it was an online test. You had the kit, but it also put you online and then provided the certificate online.
Yeah, that's the kind of test I was talking about, the telehealth.
Okay. Gary, you have a comment or a question? Spacebar, there you go.
Yes, you and I talked a while back about the indoor activities and the masking mandate, which was for public activities, not necessarily private like some of ours are. And so did you want to clarify or speak to that?
Well, Alan can speak to it too, but I believe, as I understand it, the interpretation is if it's a SIR meeting in a building that's all SIRs and they may have a few guests, it's a private meeting, but there's still a mask mandate that you enter with a mask. You're masked until you eat dinner. When you're in a line, you stay masked. You still have your 6 foot spacing, and then when you sit down, you take your mask off, have lunch, put it back on, and when you go out the door, you have your mask on. And I've seen some meetings where that's totally not what's followed. So when they walk through the door, they take the mask off and hug everybody. So they've got to be a little more careful, especially with this Omicron.
I'm sorry, but the person you called.
Steve, branch 20, you have a question or comment?
No, I took my hand down,
Oh, okay.
but thank you.
All right.
Rick,
Lee,
there is one question has popped up here.
Yep.
If all branch members are vaxxed and boosted and wearing masks, is there any other compelling reason to cancel a member meeting? And that's from Jay Gordon, branch 19.
you know, all I can use is local experience. I think it depends on the population of the people in the branch and the population of the BEC. In our particular BEC, we have a lot of people that are compromised, probably the majority of them in one fashion or another. So they're very concerned about this. So they're a little more, cautious than most. Lee, you have a comment?
Well, what I wanted to ask, you mentioned this telehealth COVID test, and while you've been talking, I've been trying to research it a little bit, and other than for Napa and Benicia, and then the states of let's see, I want to say well, it's a couple of states back east. These aren't, Massachusetts, New York, and Connecticut. They don't appear to be available everywhere. So maybe I'm not looking it up the right way, but I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
Are you saying they're not available for sale, Lee, or they're not available online, or what?
Well, what I'm not finding anything, for instance, in my local area that allows that as an option for you to get a test. Yes, you can get a rapid home test. Yes, you can go to testing someplace else. The only information that I found via telehealth COVID tests was a facility that supported Napa and Benicia counties, and then back east.
Okay, maybe there's a misunderstanding here. These are bought online, and you buy the test online. I just saw them offered for sale this morning from a number of sites, and then you use them. The requirement, at least for the U.S. standard I mentioned, is that you take the test under the supervision of a video connection. So there's somebody at the other end sees you take the test, or it's recorded. You get your you take the test and get your result online, and then you have it on your phone. I think virtually everybody in SIR has a phone. So then you bring your phone to the meeting, show them the result of the negative test, and you're done. So you don't have to go to a facility. That would defeat the purpose of it. Then it wouldn't be in home then.
Yeah, I understood what you were saying. What I'm trying to say is that I don't find it anywhere. So if you might want to share that.
Sure.
That
just type in telehealth telehealth COVID testing, and about 5 ads come up, and you can buy it online and administer it at home.
Well, I guess that's exactly what I typed in, and I guess it just tells me that I can go to clinics. It tells me that there's not a single one that offers me the opportunity. So I'm just telling you, whatever. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Try it again. TELE and then health. One word.
So, Alan, it comes in the mail though, right? It comes to you, or Amazon delivers it, and then you do the test. Right.
Yeah, it comes in the mail. Or, an Amazon truck, probably, you usually get them next day.
We'll do a little more research on it and send out a constant contacts notice to everyone so there's no question about how to do it. All right, Herbert, branch 19, do you have a comment? Unmute, just hit the space bar.
Okay, there we go. When we traveled to Italy in September, we had to take that Binox Now telehealth test, and it really was not a problem whatsoever. It was a monitored, proctored test where they had a clinician on the other end of the Zoom call. It was essentially a Zoom call, and once the results came in, we received a certificate, and that was adequate for getting on the airplane. So I think I'm just reinforcing that the telehealth works, and we use the Binox Now.
Great. Thank you very much. All right.
How much do these telehealth kits cost?
I want to say that the Binox Now, it was we got 8 of them, and it was around $140 or $150.
Okay. So $30, $40 a piece, $35 a piece. All right.
More like
Huh?
go ahead.
17 or 18.
Cheaper than that.
All right. I haven't got it yet on my phone, so if someone else finds it and finds a cost, we'll talk about it later. So we'll move along. So what actions are being taken to help branches? I don't know if Dale's here or not, but Dale Decker is Region 2 Director and also Chairman of our Procedures and Policies Committee. He's been a long time on this. Dale, are you around? You are, come up. But Dale put this policy together mainly for smaller branches that are lacking leaders, and it allows for a new BEC for a minimum of 3 officers and 2 directors, and 1 member can be both the secretary and treasurer. So that's been revised and passed and available for smaller branches that are lacking members to be leaders. Also, this last year, both in January and November, we had quite an intensive leadership summit, 1 and 2. If you haven't seen that, I would invite you to go to the webpage I've listed here on the top, surinc.org. I can go to it right now, but it's kind of tricky to jump back and forth. In there are the subject matter and their videos. So we plan to use these more in the future. This last one we had in November was 5 days and 2 hours each time, 25 subjects, 28 subjects and 25 presenters. It gets to be a bit much, so we plan on spreading that out this next year. But there's no reason why any new sir, or little sir, secretary treasurer can't go onto the website and pull these up and watch them. If they have any questions after that, they can contact the people that gave the presentations.
Rick,
Yes.
a question popped up. What is considered a small branch by Phil Garbett of branch 26?
Well, my own interpretation would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 or 60. You know, in a normal larger branch, it takes about 10, 12 people between the officers and the directors. But when we can put it down to 5, I think that really helps. I don't think it's a good idea if you have a fairly large branch to start doing this right away. If you've got people that are capable, they should be filling the positions. I think when you get down to 5, you're kind of in a survival mode. So anybody else has an opinion on that, I would invite it. So this is a subject that sometimes is the big bear in the room. I know I started talking about this 4 or 5 years ago, and it was either yes, fine, or it was hell no. There was not much in between. It was either black or white. But we're getting to the point where we have to consider this more and more, and I invite it. Back in September 27th at a board meeting, Ed Benson reported about Rossmore, which is in Walnut Creek, a very large senior community, had a branch 81 there that basically closed, and we weren't aware of it. But Ed, being the tenacious fellow that he is, said, to hell, we're not going to let that go down. We're going to get it back going again. So with the help from John Hafner, the regional director in that area, they went back and visited with those people. In fact, they took on the leadership positions on an interim basis until they could get other people involved. So this is a pilot program, and it's incorporating women into the organization. It's on a case-by-case basis. We've discussed this with other branches that are also having some leadership problems, and people not willing to stand up and take over. So that pilot program is going on. There'll be reports back how it's going, and we'll go from there. It's not a full-scale women in every branch situation. We're just feeling our way through it. So I hope all goes well. And I think it will. I foresee couples starting to join SERS if this starts going.
Eric,
Also,
could you unmute me, please? Stu Williams?
I think you're
Yeah, I'm trying to
unmuted.
find it.
Oh,
You
great.
you are unmuted, Stu.
Thank you. Rick, I'd like to make an additional comment
Right.
about the benefits of doing this at Branch 81 in Rossmore. We can now, with allowing this pilot program to be in place to allow women on a branch by branch basis, this also gives us the availability to go to different groups such as Kaiser or Google, and they will allow us advertising through these groups to reach out for new membership. And this is something that we've been stymied in the past with, because as soon as we were asked, are you a men's only organization or do you allow women? We had to honestly answer, tell them we were a men's organization only, and they were precluding us from any type of advertising or participation. Google alone gives you $2,500 worth of advertisement availability. So there is some upsides to this, even if it's only at one or several branch, such as we have the branch in Rossmore and the one over in Santa Rosa.
Thanks, Stu. Dave,
You're
you had
welcome.
a
One
comment?
other item, Rick, lest we forget our treasurer, Roy. Roy is also the activity chairman for Branch 81. So as you can see, we've made arm twisting has been applied judiciously.
Great. Sorry, Roy. I knew you were in there. Dave, you had a comment?
Yeah, I had the privilege of attending the state bowling committee meeting this morning. And, they allow widows of SER members to bowl with them. And I was just thinking if Branch 81 or other branches that take up this pilot haven't already thought about reaching out to their SER widows, this might be a good opportunity to get them involved.
Branch 35 has a bowling league, and it includes 51. And my wife and I and other women have been participating all along. They're not SERS members, but they certainly participate in our bowling league.
To the best of my knowledge, Branch 8 has always allowed widows to participate.
Okay. Another area that's new this last year is worthy causes. I don't know if Tony's here or not, but I wanted to make sure and put a shot in here for Tony. In November this last year, Tony introduced a pilot program through Branch 8 to start doing worthy causes, I guess is the proper term. They're providing t-shirts to the volunteers that says I'm a volunteer, and I think they've had 2 or 3 activities so far. They've gotten a lot of publicity on it, and the board approved that on a branch by branch basis. So it's not under the banner of SIR, but it's under a banner of some other nonprofit. Tony or Ray, excuse me, Ray, you have a comment?
Yes, I just wanted to add to what Dave said as far as the widows. I am the operations advisor for the bowling committee. We've allowed, as the bowling tournaments, we've only allowed guests. So it would be a SIR and a guest of the SIR. So we recently opened it up to widows, also having the same privilege of bringing in a guest to a bowling tournament. It seems like as we pass away, we don't want to leave our widows aside. And so many of them have built up relationships with groups around them of other bowlers or friends and stuff. And all of a sudden, because their husband passed away, they can't bowl with us unless some other SIR brings them in as a guest. So this is what we opened up for the widows of deceased SIRs.
That's fantastic, Ray.
Thank you.
Dave, you had another comment? Unmute. There you go.
Dave, you need to unmute.
Dave. Spacebar.
I should have been clearer. I was suggesting that SIR widows would be a great group to reach out to for membership.
Gotcha. Yep. Ron, do you have a
Yes,
comment?
I have a widow that's been very active in 2 of our activities, our dining and wining, and a number of the widows are invited to when we were able to get our dining activities. And that's been very appropriate. And some years ago, my wife, bless her heart, who's since passed, she started a group called the Sirettes, based on all the ladies that they met that got along so well, and they're still meeting once a month for lunch on their own. So that's another interesting wrinkle to this thing. There's about up to a dozen ladies that are either single or still, with husbands, and they're meeting on their own for lunch once a month.
That's great. Good stuff, Ron. I see Dale Decker has joined us. Dale, thank you for being here. We went through a little bit. I'll go back to policy 31. I talked about a little bit. I don't know whether you were here or not, but if you wanted to expand or expound upon that a little bit, I would welcome it, or any other policy changes you have in the works. You hear me, Dale? Hello, Dale. Nope. I think he's still getting online. All right. The other area was that Tony was just completing was the SIR rooster pins. I guess these were pins that we've had for quite some time, but we ran out of inventory. He's ordered another 300 of those, and they're going to be available. I can't tell you exactly where or how much yet, but I know that information will be coming shortly. If Tony's available, he's invited to tell us a little more about that. Dale, are you up yet? No.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Welcome to our meeting.
Well, Well, I got a new laptop here. I had some trouble getting it going here. But,
Do you want to go talk about policy 31 because this is your pet?
well, policy 31 allows branches to have a smaller BEC with 3 officers and 2 directors.
Right.
But you can have a secretary and a treasurer doing the same job. So it could be 2 officers, a big sir, and 1 officer and one other officer.
Right.
And then 2. So it helps if the branches want to use that for the smaller branches. And we have a number of them that have less than 75 and quite a few that have less than 50. And that policy has been out for about a month now, I believe.
Right. We just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of it.
They should review policy 31, yes.
Yeah. Any other policy changes that you want to talk about?
Well, we did policy 8, which is the worthy causes. We're finalizing that, and that's been approved by the board. And then we have a policy 10 addressing HLMs that we still have 1 sentence in there to fix. That
Right.
So should be out in the next couple of days, I think, in our manual.
All right. Anything else?
That's about it right now, I think.
Okay. We talked about rooster pins, promoting new Big Sirs 2022, and also promoting branches. This has been kind of a pet project of mine that I've been thinking of for the last year. And that has to do with press releases. We've posted on the SIR website, which I'll go to maybe a little bit later, and we posted a template in Word that you can go in and easily change. I also invited anybody that needed help on this to get a hold of me, which they've done. So far, I'm pretty happy with the results. I'm going to show you a few that have already gone to press. This happens to be branch 161. Dennis talks about his branch and all the things that they do. I saw some interesting things in here, like a car show, and yeah, that's great. Annual boat cruise. Whoops. Branch 15, Mike Combs. This is actually a photograph of the release, and I know I've got some correspondence on some other papers. This happens to be the Ledger Dispatch.
No, that's my branch.
There you go. The Turtle Hawk Journal just published our branch. Big Sir is Greg Bach, who is actually a repeat. In fact, I had a typo in the template that had back in there, so it was most people figured that out. And he's a repeat Big Sir. Glad to have him. Also, branch 35, Andy Danvers branch, very active branch, and meets in Palo Alto Elks Club. Has 330 members, one of our largest branches and most active branch. Branch 152 at Arnold, which we visited this last year. We had dinner with Bernie and Jim and a bunch of others. Kevin, thank you very much for your hospitality. They have a beautiful golf course that they play on. And also in their release, they talked about their next speaker. It was Mike Johnson. This was put together with Jim Walton. Thank you, Jim. So far, we put this out last month. We've got 6 branches that have posted releases. I know of 4 more. If you have a press release in progress, I'd like to know about it. If you could send me a chat or an email, just let me know. If you get a copy of it later, I'd like to have a copy of it so we can show others what's being done. So I'm pretty happy about it so far. We can get 100 branches with 100 press releases and then know how the system works. And I would like to see, after each meeting, who the speaker was, what did he talk about, pictures. It's all about publicity. Just takes a little time, doesn't take a lot of money. Promoting new members and promoting volunteerism. This is a program that Ed Benson started working on over 2 years ago. We wanted to talk about it a little bit. I think it's even with COVID where it's at today, we finally are at the point where we need to get it going. He developed this pen, lapel pin. I happen to have one on somewhere here. Well, I've got it on. And those pins have been sent out to the regional directors. They're reporting back that they received them, and they'll be going out to the area governors and to the branches. So just going through it briefly, the objectives are to energize our members and their spouses and partners to recruit and to encourage more members to volunteer. It's giving recognition to those people that are stepping forward. So members who bring a guest, including spouses or partners who made the contact or for significant volunteering service. We want recognition at the branch. We'd like to give them the pin. The Big Sur present the pins. We'd like to see a picture in your bulletin. So that's kind of where that's at. There's an 8-minute video that talks about the program, and it's on the website. You can pull it down, and we'd like to have you share it with your branch. Part of that program was updating our recruiting brochures, which we'll go into here a little bit, and that's done. We updated our invite cards. That's done. And then also more about the A-frames, which I showed you. We just got one for our branch. And this basically is just a recap of what I said. The video, a link on your branch webpage, put an article in your newsletter, put it on your branch BEC and talk about it so everyone understands what it's all about. The critical thing is the branch, Big Sur needs to get a hold of his area governor and say, yes, we want the program and we'd like to have our pins. Hopefully we have such overwhelming response to this that we get to order more pins. I think we figured out the cost on these is somewhere around $2. So we haven't figured out whether we're going to charge the branch for them yet or whether the state's going to purchase them. I would guess that it'll be something available for the branch that probably on Vistaprint. That's up to Tony and the Growth and Membership Committee. There are enough pins right now to cover about 8% of the membership. And I talked about pictures or videos of the presentations. Any questions on this program? Do you support it?
Yes, I support it.
Ed, do you have anything else? This is your baby.
Obviously, I support it. It's, you know, COVID has really had it in for me. We introduced this program the date the California shut down. So we have not had much publicity about it. Rick, thanks for picking it up. Anything we can do to recognize our volunteers, to recognize our members who bring in guests who subsequently become members is money in the bank, guys.
I see some, thanks, Ed. I see some chats, so okay. You see their chats up aren't on your screen. Yeah.
I'll butt in. I'll kind of support Ed on that. We got it going, and we actually, when we had our first luncheon back in October, we went back and recognized everybody from COVID, pre-COVID and COVID, and got them the pins. And that went over well at the branch. So it's a nice little perk. So I encourage you guys to use it. Doesn't take much effort to do it.
I think you all have a chat button, and most of these go to everyone. So feel free to go through them. Alan Baker posted what the protocols are for raffles. A lot of information on what the most branches are charging as far as dues. Jay Gordon says if all branches are vaccinated, boosted, and wearing masks, is there any other compelling reason to cancel a meeting? Again, I'd say that's up to your BEC, but I think we like seeing meetings being held, but we want them done in a safe manner. Okay. Moving right along, which is one of the suggestions. Revised general recruiting brochure. This is the brochure that was developed this last year. This happens to be our branch. It allows you to go in and put in your branch information. When I did this, didn't use the branding guide properly and didn't use Lato. I believe that's the preferred one. So our next one will have that. This is the one that you can download and have printed. I believe the one that's on Vistaprint, so far I've seen it, that just allows you to put the branch information in. But this is a 8.5 by 14 page, which some printers can handle. You can actually print it on your own printer, or you can take it down to your local printer. In my case, this is the outside of that brochure. In my case, this is the download from the gated off of the Vistaprint. In my case, I used Print Place. So downloaded the form, made it to fit our branch, saved it, then sent it online and had it printed. Just to give you an idea on cost, for 1,000, it's about 40 cents a piece. Invitation cards, also I did a Print Place, which you can also do online. And I've printed some business cards for SIRS off of our Vistaprint, and they do a great job. These are the invitation cards. Some of them you're still using your old ones, just are fine, you've paid for them. The main thing is to get them out to your members. Make sure everyone's got 2 or 3 at every meeting and use them, which is an area all of its own. This is the back side of the invite card, which is personalized to your branch, our particular branch. We just purchased a sandwich board, and we're going to be putting it up at our meetings, at our pickleball or bocce ball, bowling. The one I had, I drilled a hole and put in the brochure holder so you can put brochures on it. Vistaprint here several weeks ago had a 30% off sale. I used that, so I got this board, which is fairly heavy but sturdy. It was $90, and I had to order the insert, which now also is on our webpage. You can put your branch number on it if you want. And this can be used for anything, golfing, luncheon meetings. I think it's a great tool. And I know a lot of you have it already. But if you don't have it, use that money that you didn't pay your assessments on and buy some of this stuff and use it. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the SIR branding guide. A lot of time and energy went into it. We've talked about it at several meetings. I would invite you to have your webmasters and newsletter editors review it. We're still in the process of getting all the branches to adopt the branding. We're still using the old logo in a lot of newsletters. You know, it's hard to change, but we've come up with this banner that a lot of the newsletters are now using and their websites are using. Also, Tony asked for some different ones, which we authorized to have done. I'll give you some examples. This is has a few more people and has the ladies involved. And going into activities, I know Mark's been sitting here patiently. I asked him to attend today, maybe give us a little update. He did at the last board meeting about what's going on in state SUR golfing. I know they've got their calendar pretty well done for this year. So Mark, if you're available, could you give us a little update on SUR state golf?
Sure, Rick. Before I do that, I was looking for something on the COVID recent discussions we had. I had been looking into it myself. If you go to www.cnbc.com and search under health insurers must pay for at-home COVID test, there's a full article on that. They must start doing it as of January 15th, and it lists all the tests that they'll pay for, which insurance companies.
Great.
So that would tell me we have no out-of-pocket cost if we can find the product. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and share a screen now. This was the report I gave back to the state board back in November. And I'll go through it real quick like. So you see it, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Everyone's
So
got it.
basically, these are the topics we covered at the meeting in November. I reviewed 2021, and I'll make this available on our golf website for everybody to look at it if they want to look at the full report. I went into the challenges we had last year with COVID. We did run some tournaments towards the end of the year and followed the appropriate protocols. Going forward, I talked about what the challenges in state golf is. I think in any golf, we need more volunteers. Communication is a big issue, getting information to our golfers, and participation. We really need to have people start turning out for branch and state tournaments. And at the state level, our state committee could use more help. So I'm looking for anybody who would be interested in volunteering. This is the schedule for 2022. It starts in April. We're going to go back, and I might add, we're going to try to get back to a normal schedule as we've done for the past decades. So we'll start out in April in Napa with 2 really nice courses. In May and June, we'll have our qualifiers for the state and individual, our team and individual championships. Those qualifiers will continue on until months later. We're going to go back to Reno. That's a big request. The week of the 13th, we'll be at the Atlantis Hotel, and the courses are listed there that we're going to be playing. The team finals will be in August. The individual championships will be in October. Both will be at the same course in Fairfield, Rancho Solano. Right now, we don't have a venue for the Fall Classic in September, but we're looking at 3 venues right now we're considering. One is in the North Bay at Foxtail and the courses they have there. Also the Poppy Hill courses in the East Bay. And we've got a couple of other ones in the South Bay that we're looking at as well. And then finally, we're looking at partnering with some branches to run some away golf tournaments, scrambles, and possibly couples only. And we've been in discussion with some branches about holding those as well, but they're not on our schedule as of yet. NCGA has made some changes, so the golfers will know what I'm talking about. NCGA is Northern California Golf Association. The dues are available or required as of the 1st. The newsletter is going to go electronic only as of the 1st of the year. They have some additional benefits for members. There's a pre-tournament management program that was provided to us for the last couple of years through NCGA. That's going to change from Golf Genius to a new one called Blue Golf. And there's been some training going on by Blue Golf here recently. That's finished. And the state golf committee right now is in discussion with Blue Golf about holding a SIRS only training program. We don't have any of that finalized yet, but if we do, I will get the word out. And one big thing, the SIR, everything I just showed you and everything you might want to get more information on or get in touch with me or others on the state golf committee. Back in November, December, we instituted a new URL link to state golf. It's called sirgolf.org, www.sirgolf.org. That gets you to our website and all the information that I've just shown you. So I would suggest you do that, look at it, pass it along to other golfers and other members of your BEC or membership. And I guess it goes without saying how important golf is as a recruiting activity to our organization. That was the #1 identified activity by our consulting firm. No doubt we want to focus on it this year. I've talked to Rick about it. What we've offered at the State Golf Committee is to help any branch that wants to start a golf program to get it going. We will have members of the committee work with you and go through the process and get it set up so you can have your own golf program in your branch. And with that, I'll entertain any questions, Rick.
Great. Any questions for Mark? I know we're playing golf Tuesday in Atwater. Guess no golf on Monday due to MLB. But we're still going, and we have actually have one family that's donating some money to the tournament in honor of one of our members that passed away this last year that was a very avid golfer. So hopefully we'll have some prizes on some par 3s, closest to the hole maybe.
Rick, I might add one thing too. We did a survey and we found that a lot of the golf programs in the branches played on Monday. So we've intentionally moved the state golf tournaments off of Monday. Most of them are on either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Any questions? I don't see any hands up.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Rick.
I had some questions under the chat room. One was what other branches are doing to raise money. The main thing I think is a raffle. They're not 50-50, but we're raffling off wine and Sir apparel. Seems to be pretty popular. If I can't sell it, I'll give it away. So anyway, those are some of the other fundraising. I don't know too much more than that. Ellen gave a link to the branding marketing materials. Ken Edwards agrees with women, especially widows, and so forth. Regarding resuming person meetings, has any branch resumed in-person lunch meetings incurred a case of COVID? Gary Corbell from Bakersfield said they require vaccinations and they've only had one case of COVID since October. Banners in the website, Ellen provided the link. Says Bob Marshall from Branch 59. Well, I'm sure there are positive tests out there amongst our members. Have not heard of any subsequent to any of our meetings since starting up in October. So like, I guess he's saying that they're not having any meetings. Any other, let's see, Steve, you have a comment?
Just a question. Are the chat, when you tape this session, are the chats included in that?
I defer to Derek.
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm back into the website, but I need to get down to where we're at. Sorry. Went through the banners, other activities. Let's see, slideshow. Thank you, Mark. That was great. Other activities at our last, actually in December, we had a board meeting and the state bowling folks presented their schedule for 2022, and that's been approved. Personally, I'd like to see more bocce ball. It's a great outdoor activity. I've heard some bocce ball groups have deferred until like February or March. It's a good outside activity. I'd like to see more area tournaments, region tournaments, and hopefully some kind of state competition. Also, I'd like to see more activity on the state RV. Bobby's in charge of that. We have a new Form 20, which allows for inputting RV contact information in bocce ball. But I would ask if you have people that are interested in bocce ball or RV, send me an email so we can start gathering up people that are interested in talking about and doing what I suggested. Another area that some people may not know about is seeing is that we're having more and more Zoom meetings again because of COVID. There are programs available on the website. So you can go to surinc.org. I think there's currently 27 programs listed up there. All you have to do is link onto them and play them for your, share your screen and share them at your Zoom meetings. I don't know if Andy's here or not, but Branch 35 puts on some great videos. I've attended some of them. But they're currently member protected, but I think they may allow us to get a link where we could share them with the rest of our members. One thing I wanted to talk just a little bit, this is kind of my own private thing, but I share it with you. Since 1974, I've been putting on veterans programs. I started with World War II vets in 1974. Our branch had 21 World War II vets and we're down to 3 now. It's a good thing we started it when we did. That was in January. Later that November, we honored our Korean vets. We were able to obtain the Korean Peace Medal and present that to veterans. We put out press releases. We invited the public. I personally processed about 150 applications, and we had flag individuals in. We had a congressman also come. We had a program at our local university and also had one at our branch. We also gained members over those events. But the last one is the Vietnam era veterans. I tried to find someone local that would provide that program. I couldn't find one, so I decided to do it myself. I'm a Vietnam commemoration partner. It's authorized through the Department of Defense to honor Vietnam veterans. I've put on about 8 of these ceremonies and 5 with served branches. Turlock, Modesto, Lodi, Fresno, Sonora, and Pioneer. This happens to be the non-commissioned officers individual. I believe he's from Sacramento. He came down and make these presentations. I can tell you the life history of every one of these guys. The first one here was shot down in China, recovered. This guy was World War II vet, chief, as a master sergeant, was also in the Korea and Vietnam. This fellow right here actually is an engineer type, and he worked on the gun sites both in the Atlantic and the Pacific. And this last gentleman was actually like a Navy SEAL before they were called Navy SEALs, but I could list all the rest of them and give you their histories, and we've only got 3 of them left. You can pull this up on a website that's talks about Vietnam commemoration. We were provided lapel pins, which we give to the participants. This is basically what we talk about when we start the program out. I've done enough of this to know how to do it properly. There's a big difference between just a vet that maybe served on here at the state, or one that was on a ship, or a guy that was actually under fire. So when we talk about this, we recognize each one of those levels. And for Vietnam era vets, that's people from 1955 to 1975, regardless of location. I put out a questionnaire. I provided to your branch. This happens to be the one I provided to SIRS branch 15. We compile this information, put it on a spreadsheet, and when we go through the program, we properly honor those people. We try to get the local ROTC involved. This particular program, we had an honor guard. We try to take a group picture. I haven't gotten all the, I forgot on some of them, but this happens to be our own branch. This happened to be branch 159 in Fresno. And we find that when we have these programs, our attendance goes up measurably. And some branches use it for actually maybe getting new members. Others say, well, no, we just want our own members recognized, which is fine.
Rick, a question.
Yes.
This is Ken Landlin, 161 branch. Do you do these veteran programs as part of a luncheon, sort of like the speaker part of the luncheon?
Yes.
Okay.
Memorial Day, Veterans Day are good. Those months are good. Just to let you know, we need to plan it early. There's a lot of planning goes into it. We have to order the lapel pins. We have a lot of literature that we can hand out. And we post that on a national website. So if other people go on, they can see where there's programs being held and who's holding them. And we'd like to do press releases and get people to attend the meeting and honor them. And we also like to do articles after and pictures in the papers.
Okay,
I usually invite if you have local retired flag officers, I try to get those involved, hopefully wear their uniform and make the presentation of the pins and make it special. This happens to be a local Coast Guard Admiral, retired salmon farmer that lives in Hillmar, California. And when he's available, he goes with me, and I really appreciate him. So also, one other thing I wanted to bring up, I've said it to some people, I want to be available. I want to visit branches in regions and areas. If you decide you want to have a area governor's meeting or area governor's meeting with branches, I'll be available. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pour beer like I'm doing there, but I'll try. And with proper advance notice, I'll be there. This is how I get there in that little motorhome that's coming back from Oregon. And I think that's Mount Shasta in the back. So we enjoy getting out and visiting, and we make that available. Facebook is a marketing tool. I would guess if I asked for a show of hands with this group, maybe 10 or 20% of you probably give a darn about Facebook. As you get older, you're not too interested in Facebook, but the younger people are and the wives are. So we're looking at it more and more as a marketing tool, and we're prepared to move forward. We want to have administrators for that program. If you only have 1 or 2 members in a branch, that's okay. What we need is content. We need pictures of events, golfing, when you're having luncheons, presentations. You can send those to me, or you can send them to Ellen, and we'll post them to start with on the state Facebook page. And then hopefully my goal is to get them into area Facebook pages. So anyone in that area can look at it. We'll have information on where the branches meet, when they meet, and hopefully you'll start seeing some new members coming in. This is the URL now that's just been changed just in the last few days. Thanks to Alan Baker. It's SIRS Social Activities. You can click on that URL, or if you have a Facebook yourself, you go under the search mode and just put in SIR, and you'll find the state SIR Facebook. I've started posting things to it, and will continue to, but I need your help. If you would like to get involved in that, please start sending us information and we can start posting up. We've formed a committee now for Facebook, and I'm not sure if we're going to have a turnkey thing for each area, but we're going to work on it. And if you are interested, or you know people within your branch that are interested in it, again, this is a marketing tool, and maybe members that are branch members may become more involved in Facebook if they want to. I know some people really like it. Other people think it's an infringement upon their personal information. So you have to make that decision, but we see it as a marketing tool. Just to recap, I think you've all heard this before. I think Ed's talked about it a lot. Our expectations of our members are few. Be a friendly, sociable guy. I try to be. Participate, volunteer as your time and interest allows. Spread the word about SIR by inviting guests and help encourage them to join, grow our organization, and share in the fun. I try to have as much fun as I can with SIRs. I know you do too. If I didn't have fun doing it, I wouldn't be here talking to you. This is one of the things I think on the website about achievements. And I think it's been proven that our members live longer because we're more active and socially engaged. We're one of the, excuse me, we're one of the largest golfing groups in Northern California, or the largest. Our state SIRs put on over 15 state tournaments. Our wives, our partners love SIRs. I know we love doing the dining out. We usually have a picnic here at our house or barbecue every year. We haven't been able to have it the last 2 years. We usually have over 50 people here for a barbecue and a dinner in a backyard, which we really miss not having due to COVID. We like the activities to be physically fit, not quite physically fit as I should be, but we still, I think, better than just sitting home and watching Judge Judy. We travel both locally and overseas. We have a great time and make many new friends. And if you have time for SIRs, we have time for you. One other thing that was brought up was about the SIR Foundation. There were some questions that came up relative to that, which I wanted to share a little bit. That's the link to the SIR Foundation. It's a 501c3 corporation, which allows for donations that are tax deductible. And our SIR Inc. or every branch is a 501c4. Members can donate to that branch, but they're not tax deductible. Derek Southern is our president of our foundation. There's been some questions about whether individuals can make donations to the state SIR Foundation and whether that money can be channeled back to the branch. As I understand it, and I'd invite Derek to talk about this, or Stu a little bit, that can be done. So our goal from the SIR Foundation standpoint is we want to promote this. We know there's people that want to donate money to the foundation. We just need to get out and market it a little more to provide that venue and make it easily done. So Roy, you may have some comments about that also. I'd invite any of you folks to speak up about the foundation.
Yeah, people are very welcome to donate money to the foundation, and then we'll, the limitation there is you can't specify what you want it spent on. So the foundation is totally independent for tax reasons from the SIR State Incorporated. So with that one proviso, send us your money. Stu, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I do. If I think it's important that the branches understand that the availability of the Zoom meetings that the branches have been able to conduct for their BEC meetings or activities or whatever involved, it all comes from a commercial Zoom account that the foundation has obtained. And it's almost $2,000 a year for that account. But that's for 10 accounts, and we use it for all the branches to be able to communicate with their members. I would hope that the members may consider making a donation to the foundation to continue these efforts for these Zoom meetings. They've come in very handy for the state training. Today, you know, the meeting is being conducted on a Zoom meeting for Rick's Fireside Chat. These are something that is worthwhile. A donation from your branch would be gladly considered appropriate and would help us go a long way in keeping all the branches afloat. So I have nothing further to add than that.
Okay, thank you, Stu. Roy?
Yeah, I was just going to comment that the whole reason the SIR Foundation was established was to benefit the members of SIR and the communities they live in. And initially it was about some wildfire relief, and we channeled some $45,000 worth of donations to the people who had suffered in Paradise and Magalia from the forest fire back in 2018. That's the last thing we did because COVID kind of shut down everything. But certainly we want to benefit the communities that SIR operates in. It's all part of our marketing program. That's why we've changed the rules about allowing more community involvement as promotion to attract new members to SIR. And if some of those activities may require some funding, I use the example of there's a little bit of a reconstruction effort for the community dock where the boats are launched for the SIR fishing group. Then, you know, maybe some money for materials could be granted on application to the foundation to support that kind of a thing. So keep in mind that we will have some sort of a grant program that will benefit the communities where SIR operates or really wants to operate, because that's a great way to open up the opportunity for a new branch in a community that's underserved by the SIR organization.
Very good. Thanks, Roy. We had some other comments on the chat that I'll go through. Mark, just to reiterate, said COVID self-test information can be found at www.cnbc.com. There talks about it being paid by insurance. Jay Gordon asks, is bocce ball as a co-ed activity, is that all considered a SIR sanctioned event? As far as I know, is if your BEC has approved that as a activity and it's in your minutes, that's a SIR sanctioned event. If you elect to make it not a SIR event, don't put it in your minutes. Gary Corbell from Branch 163, and Gary, I'm sure happy to see you being the big SIR. I know you're the glue guy down there. I've been down there enough times to see that, and you're a great leader. Unfortunately, at Branch 163, we no longer have activities because of the complete lack of interest. Golf just went by the wayside, but we do have first Thursday luncheon for members. I have about 25 there. Ellen Baker posts the link to speakers. What is the name of the state Facebook page? I think I put that URL up. Senior activities. You can search under Facebook and just put in SIR in caps. It'll come up. At least it does for me. Is the Facebook page monitored for postings? I know I'm monitoring it. I think Dean monitors it. Ellen monitors it. I guess you're asking about what the content is that's being posted. Any other questions about that, Mark?
Yeah, Rick, you posted about two or three things this past week on Facebook, and I couldn't see your content of anything you posted.
Huh. Well, I found out after our meeting, I think it was yesterday, if I've been posting it just to friends, and now I need to post it to public. So that's what I'll be doing in the future. Okay. So from my standpoint, I've taken up enough of your time, about an hour and a half. When a ball game's on, that's pretty significant. I've only lost 50 people in the last 5 minutes, so I guess we must be into the third or fourth quarter. Any other questions, comments for the good of the order and this Saturday afternoon?
Hey, Rick, do you post in Facebook under Rick Kindle Senior?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There is
I
a
was wondering-
junior. Yeah, there is
Huh?
a junior. There is a junior.
Okay, well, I didn't know that you posted under Rick Kendall Senior. That's how I see your post in Facebook when I'm on there.
Yeah. There is a junior, God bless him. All right. I can go into the Facebook if you want, but I think everyone, not Facebook, but into the web page, but I think everyone knows how to do that. Someone asked about Nextdoor. We've been doing that. I don't know too much about it, but I know some branches use it very actively. Probably from the state level, we need to talk more about it and make it available. Our branch looked at it and they thought we were too spread out to do it, but we can look at it again. But I think it's whatever works for the branch. Anything else?
Somebody asks, Bob Marshall says, is the Zoom recording going to be available? Yes. I'll get it downloaded. It takes a little while to do that. And then I'll send the link to Alan Baker and he puts it up on the website for us. Thank you, Alan.
Okay, on to the Raiders and then the 49ers tomorrow afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, guys. Very good meeting.
I'll close it down and that'll stop the recording. Well, I'll stop the recording first.
Thank you, Derek.